All right, thank you. There's a lot of tripod.
Isn't it? I think we need to swap.
Yeah, no, I like yours. I want one like that actually. I've got. You'd have to tell me what that is because I really want one.
I got it off. I haven't got the bill with me. I got it off eBay.
eBay.
Yeah. No, eBay or Amazon. I can't remember. But it's a stand. It's a stand. Wasn't that much?
No, it's really good. This is a pain to carry around. So it's,
Well, that's what easy to carry around. I have to carry that box as well.
yeah.
How are you, all right?
Very good, thank you. Congratulations on doing this. It's brilliant.
That's great. Well, more engagement.
300 viewers. It's brilliant.
I'd like to make an announcement of one appointment. That relates to Councillor David Hilton, who is Deputy Lead Member, who has been appointed as Deputy Lead Member of Ascot Regeneration. Anyone who knows Councillor Hilton will know that he's a tremendous advocate of Ascot, involved in many aspects of both health and regeneration down there, in recognition of the importance of Ascot in terms of the overall regeneration programme. In the borough local plan, Ascot is suggested to be taking 15% of increased housing in our draft borough local plan, 25% increase in the number of housing units in Ascot in recognition of that very significant undertaking for Ascot. Councillor Hilton is a deputy member at Ascot Regeneration. He'll do an excellent job, so I'm sure we will congratulate him on that. Now we move on to the forward plan. Karen? So we have no changes to that. There are two things I'll announce as part of the forward plan. We will be taking a part 2 paper, which was the declaration of interest, which Councillor Rayner made earlier on Heathrow. And so that will be the forward plan. I will also announce here that we will be changing the running order of the papers tonight in recognition of the number of public speakers we have for the key worker housing paper. There are 3 public speakers on that, so we'll be bringing that forward to the first item to be considered tonight. Members will need to agree that, but if members are in agreement to varying that, are we agreed? We're agreed. All right, thank you very much. Head teachers, decide who comes up first, but please come up to address us. Heidi is first.
Thank you very much. Do I need to turn this on? First of all, can I say thank you very much for the invite this evening. It is my belief that key worker housing is absolutely essential if we are to recruit and retain the highest quality members of staff. I think all of us, myself, councillors and residents, want amazing, fantastic schools, and the only way that we can secure that is to ensure that our staffing is stable, it is of the highest quality. Personally, being a head teacher in this current climate, we are finding it extremely difficult, if not impossible, to recruit to the standard that we would hope to. It is often the case that I put out adverts and have to go out to re-advertise again and again, with very little and often no applications. It's equivalent to that of London, where teachers not only can access inner London waiting, but they can also access key worker housing. And therefore, to attract staff that we want, and our parents want, and our children want, we need to ensure that there are some incentives. And key worker housing would provide absolutely that incentive. I'll also share some information with regards to my current staffing situation. I do have a great staff and I work very hard to enable that to happen. However, my staff are now looking for promotions. They are looking to think around how to locate them, where they should locate themselves. For example, if they want to start a family, and they simply cannot afford to do that in this borough. And therefore, from my team, for example, my senior team, I'm losing 3 members of staff who are relocating into other areas of the UK simply because they cannot afford to work in this proposal, and I hope you will meet it.
Highly great to see you, thank you. Now Richard is next.
Mr Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of this paper on behalf of local head teachers in the schools they lead. 32 years ago, when I started my career at Charters, properties owned by the then Berkshire County Council were readily available to rent at affordable prices to attract new teachers. The national teacher recruitment crisis, the effects of which are particularly acute here. Everyone agrees that excellent leadership and outstanding, passionate, well-qualified, engaging classroom teachers deliver better outcomes for students. Yet, when recruiting, despite advertising costs often running into the tens of thousands annually, it's quite common in schools like mine to receive not a single inquiry. This sometimes used to be the case only in shortage subjects, but it's now common across the board. And the option to secure the best teacher from a field of candidates is long gone. Because teacher recruitment is a national problem, vacancies exist everywhere, and the attraction of cheaper areas to raise a family is significant, as well as, of course, places like Dubai and the Far East with a developing number of English-speaking schools. Additionally, the many schools in the fee-paying sector in our area, often having significant property portfolios, are able to make accommodation offers with which we are unable to compete, affecting not only recruitment but retention of staff as well. Given schools' unprecedented funding pressures, newly qualified teachers are very much sought after. However, London prices without the London lifestyle are not an attractive prospect. Good and outstanding schools here offer rapid promotion prospects and ought to act as a magnet, attracting hundreds of teachers to this area, yet they don't come. So together, we must develop and implement a strategy to pull us out of this downward spiral, and the arrival of Crossrail, in addition to the existing demographic trends, is likely to increase the pressure on recruitment. So I welcome the Royal Borough accepting that inaction cannot be an option if the life chances of all our young people in this area are to be valued. And the message that this paper gives is an important one, and the proposed actions form a sensible and deliverable package which will benefit.
Right. I also appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you. It's a current issue, as we know, for all school leaders, the recruitment of high quality teachers. I think this issue's been around for a number of years, but I think the perception at the moment is that it's absolutely a crisis point. I have the dubious accolade of being the longest serving head teacher, I think, now in this borough, and during my 17 years as being a head, we would have had at times in the past received a significant number of applications and therefore could shortlist a number of good candidates. I now actually have no confidence that any applications will arrive however many times I advertise. I know one local first school which has advertised 3 times for a teacher in September and no interest has been shown at all. The issue of affordable housing is obviously one barrier to recruitment. When I knew I was coming to speak, I've talked to other schools. We've got one Maidenhead school who's got 3 NQTs, 2 of whom still live at home, and that is one option for people who can't afford the housing, but they're very keen to move out. They can't afford local rents, and the third wants to actually buy, but knows that they need a deposit of £60,000. They're thinking of moving to a cheaper area to rent in order to save for a deposit than to buy. The same school, just in case you think it is just people at the very beginning of their careers who have this problem, rated prices in the South East and Thames Valley in particular. My view is that we need to keep good teachers, we need to be able to appoint good teachers, and we need to have therefore affordable housing. I think key worker housing is fantastic. One of my teachers is part of a key worker scheme. She wouldn't have been able to stay with me otherwise. I do also need to say though that there are so many things going wrong in the education profession at the moment that the least we can do is make sure that people who want to work with us, who are exceptionally good, can afford housing. Those other things are the workload, which is so unmanageable at the moment, any changes to pensions, and that constant nationwide criticism and lack of respect shown to members of our profession at the moment. That's my perception. Thank you.
Liz, thank you very much for that. Congratulations. Thank you for all of you for speaking on that so passionately. Perhaps I could say I couldn't hold up the teaching profession in a high regard. I think their work they do is just wonderful under enormous pressure. I think I would be supported by all cabinet members here, thanking you and everyone at all your schools and every school in the Royal Borough for the work you do to give children in the Royal Borough the best possible chance in their lives moving forward. So thank you from us. So that, do you have something there, Councillor Coventry?
I would like to speak on the subject.
I'm going to present the paper, perhaps. Yeah. Okay. But if you would like to say something now, Councillor.
No, I should wait, please.
All right. Okay. So look, let's move on to this paper which is in front of you, which deals with key worker housing. I'm presenting this. I made myself the member for housing in recognition of the sheer scale of development which will go on in the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead as part of our borough local plan over the course of the next few years, but with the very clear intent that when that goes on, we can't button the housing market. What we can do through our existing property portfolio and our land holdings is what we have said, which is build a Royal Borough for everyone, and that is what we can do. So, specifically on schools and the education of our children, more broadly when we go on to the other definition of key workers, with our schools, we're investing very heavily in the bricks and mortar of those and expanding them, but without the teachers, the key housing is part of the solution there to work with in this case, our educational leaders, but in other instances, other key workers. So that is the paper which is in front of us tonight. It deals with the Royal Borough of Windsor Maidenhead through its trading company, used to be called 259 Limited, now it is called rbwm Property Company Limited, developing a portfolio of key worker houses which are detailed in the initial group of these, which is detailed in, let's just find the page here, which is the bottom of page 100 of our papers. There's table 1 property list phase 1 and table 2 property list phase 2. These are, in most of the cases, existing properties which the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead has control of, which will be converted by the use of existing social housing section 106 funds of £2.6 million. We're applying towards that to convert them into property which would be available to be made available to key workers as defined in the paper on what will be a affordable rent basis. Now, what that means is that if you're in the private rental market, let's say a rental for a property would be 100%, we will set an affordable rent level. The paper suggests 80%. We will look closely now, indicating that we will be building up a portfolio of in the region of £20 million in value of properties, which would be in rbwm Property Company Limited. There would be a reduction in the yield that we would get through that affordable rent, let us say 80% in that region for that. So there is money effectively being put into to assist people to hire locally through a reduction questions which were raised at the overview scrutiny panel, which are detailed in papers which have been circulated. What we will be doing is responding to the ONS panel, including those who are available in the public domain responses to all the questions that they raised there in terms of the operation of these schemes. We're getting on with this. We've got to do planning applications, we've got to get moving to generate this housing stock. At the same time, we'll be working up the full details of these schemes. As part of that, I actually have a meeting with Housing Solutions on Monday. I'm very interested with my Cabinet colleagues at looking at, in fact, the operation of these schemes being operated by a housing association, so we get their expertise and their critical mass to do this and do it in the right way to address a number of the questions which have been very sensibly raised by overview and scrutiny. So that is the proposition in front of us. It's a key plank